Welcome to MyWatches podcast, episode 8. First of all, so sorry. Deeply apologize for the lack of updates. As you know, just to put it out there as well, this is something that we do on the site for fun, for our passion of watches. So don't blame us for that. We will try to upload as much as possible, right? And once again, we have Woody, right? The tag at Watch Addict TW. Alright. Brilliant photographer, amazing watch shots. So just go there and be amazed, right? So he's teaching us to really update the quality of MyWatches podcast shots and stuff, and it just looks miles behind what Woody does, right? Right. So Renee here as well, and unfortunately Han and team could not make it for today, but it's okay. The show must go on. And first things first, wristwatch check. Right. So I'll go first. I had the part of my new acquisition since the last we spoke, which is the Tudor black base ceramic. Right. Here we go. I'll talk more about this watch later as well. Right. And for Woody?
I have on the reversal dual face, medium size. I don't know why the question that comes out a lot. What size is this? It's the medium size because of my small wrist. So it's got two faces. Classic design.
Amazing. Right, for Renee?
Mine, I'm wearing a Grad Seiko SBGR 253, I think, if I remember that correctly. It's a 37mm.
Yeah. Brilliant. Alright. So I think we're going to keep it really casual for this week. We do not pre-plan any topics in advance. So we're going to talk about some of the new watches that we got here. What has happened in the watch industry lately, and some other things that comes to our mind as we go. Alright. So I think I'll go ahead. I have made quite a number of purchases since we last spoke about. Right.
Like a lot.
Right. So I think when we last spoke, I have made an order for the Ming 1709 already, and then after that I also made the order for the Tudor Black Bay Chrono Panda, the white face one, and then post then at the episode 7 where it was myself, Han, and Woody, Tudor had another surprise release of the Black Bay ceramic, right? And to be honest, my first impression was like it's nice, but I was hoping that it's full black. I was hoping it would be the equivalent of the Seamaster
black.
Yeah, the ceramic one.
Which is impossible to read.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cool. It looks so cool, right? So there are a couple of things in my, I think, in what I decide watches and so on, right? Yeah. If I were to put weightage from top to bottom, I think history, design, wearability, collectability, and price. I think that's how I would rank it, right? Collectability in the sense of for example, I'm missing a pilot's watch in my piece, right? So there's a void to fill, right? A missing puzzle to be in it. So that's the sort of collectability, right? So I think in terms of the design factor of this, it's really cool, right? How the light plays with the ceramic bezel of it just looks super cool. Wearability as well, as a Black Bay GMT owner, the reduce in thickness, I was really impressed in the reduce in thickness from the GMT and the Chrono, and over here it further reduces it, and it comes with a case back with decorated black rotor and everything, tungsten rotor if I'm not mistaken, and it looks super cool, right? So that's the first thing that
which is quite surprising, having a see-through case back which is thinner than the BB41.
Exactly, right.
Was it ever a reason that they gave that they couldn't do it? I can't remember.
They said they couldn't do it.
Right. So then and nothing was compromised. Like the movement was better. It's a Meta certified movement, right?
Yeah. Watch out, Omega.
Even better movement, no compromise in water resistance or anything, and it's thinner, right? So the what I mean, it opens the door to many opportunities that's available to Tudor in the coming future, right? What's going to happen next is, right? Is this going to be a new standard for all the Black Bay lines? What are they going to do with it, right? So it's exciting times ahead, especially for someone that supports Tudor, right? What are they going to do with it? Are they
calling him the Tudor collector?
How many Tudors do you have, by the way?
So I've bought GMT, the ceramic, and the chrono, right? But I sold the chrono, right? So I only have 2 right now, right? But the Pelagos LHD is in my list, all right, and I want to get it before it's discontinued, right? So rumors say it's discontinued, it's potentially a smaller Pelagos. Right.
Oh, okay.
Right. So that good news for you guys. Yeah. Right. So yeah. So there's also I previously mentioned the weekend as well. The Tudor sub in blue that is also in my list, and the rose ETA movement. Yeah. So that is a few in my list, but not on the very top of the priority, but something I probably hope to get in time. Right. So yeah, Tudor. It's going to be interesting. So yeah, really stay ahead and look out for this brand. Many stuff is going to pop up. Yeah. And then before that, I've also placed the order for the Kurono, the Toki, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. One of it lah. Right. So this is the one with the salmon dowel. Beautiful pieces, right? I'm gonna put the stop motion that I did over here.
Well, right? That's really well done.
Yeah. So the stop motion. So bear in mind, like for those who didn't know, the unboxing of the watch is the first time that I seen it, as the first time that I did the stop motion as I unbox it. So as I didn't know, naively I thought it would be the DHL box, and then I get the box and I open it, there will be the watch. But as you can see, the stop motion, there's various layers to it, which added added an hour to my whole stop motion time that I didn't intend to do. There's a DHL box, an outer layer box.
Vacuum seal, right? I remember you said.
Exactly. And then you have the cloth.
Yes.
Then the vacuum sealed and disinfected for your protection. And then a inner watch box in there. And after that, you get the watch wrapped in plastic. That's how many layers in there.
Omakase.
Yeah. and unboxing experience is just pleasant, right? The amount of details that they got into, giving you the notes, giving you all that, the details, giving you the Japanese lucky pouch, the cloth and everything is just amazing. And if I have money, I would have gotten the lacquered box as well, right?
Right.
Yeah, but that I can't justify it. Right? I mean, it's a 1,000 ringgit for just a box for just one watch, right?
Fair.
But it looks fantastic nonetheless, and definitely a fan of the Kurono brand. But as I told them before the podcast, it's something that at the moment I like looking at it more than I like wearing it, right? I don't know. Something seems missing, potentially because that I'm very used to large watches recently, right? With the GMT and everything is all 41 and so on. So I'm going to give it a little bit more time, but definitely at least from a look standpoint and a watch standpoint, the brand and the creativeness that gone into this, definitely recommend to people who are looking for an independent brand to support. Right, so look out for their future releases. They may make mistakes sometimes for the Sergi.
They did.
Yeah. But I think one can actually learn from them is how sincere they are in apologizing on this, right? So I'm not sure if you guys want to talk a little bit quickly on this. What happened with the Kurono Seiji?
I think they intended for it to be a women's only thing, so they actually made a decision that they would prioritize female customers. But the misnomer or misstep that they took was they allowed their original collectors to be part of the draw as well, and they put a full allocation for that, and they had no gender bias there. So you can't do half and half in the social media world, right? If you want to do it, you have to do it all out. But so they did that, and there was a backlash because the watch meme world just got wind of it and started to say that all men who have who have the organ can get it anyway for other people, and so that really went awry. But I think they quickly recognized that, and I think they went into a full draw, right? I think after that, they segmented it into the first the collectors draw, but prioritizing their female collectors as well. Then it was open draw for female collectors as well. I actually don't know in the end how many percentage they were able to get, but it was, I think they, for all intents and purposes, wanted to do it properly. It's just the execution wasn't great, and they were quick to apologize. I think it was within a few days, or was it 1 or 2 days after they had the backlash, they straight away apologized and they changed the entire order process. So I think credit to them.
With a certain brand could probably learn something from them, right? If you know, you know. So if you know, you know, put it there. Right. So, but I mean, I do understand where they're coming from, and they're looking to tackle so many things at once, right? You don't want to tackle promoting watches to female, especially in a, I would say, predominantly a man prominent hobby, male-dominated hobby, right? That's something they want to tackle. They also want to tackle the resale market, right? They don't like watches going to resale. They don't like seeing watches fetching over 2-3 times the price of it, right? The creator intended this to be a watch for everybody, right?
A watch to be owned by the owners themselves.
So I do see where it's coming from, and it is a very hard thing to tackle, right? I mean, speaking of it, big brands, Rolex and stuff, either they don't care or they couldn't solve the problem and stuff. So it's not something. I could imagine it being even harder for an independent brand to solve. So I do give them credits for that, for trying something. But yeah, definitely looking forward to see what's coming into play for them.
If I'm not mistaken, they even later announced how they're going to honor the warranty as well. I think they came up with a Instagram story saying that within the first 6 months,
only the original
owner can claim the warranty, or if they find it online, they will try and figure out which one it is and they won't honor it. And someone actually asked me, does that mean that I can still buy it and flip it after 6 months? I said, technically you can, but that's the whole reason why they are trying to walk that middle ground, because you could be a genuine owner. After 6 months, don't fall out of love in it, and you can still let it go. But it's just that the heat and the hype happens in the first 6 months, because everybody wants it at that point in time. So I think credit to them for putting that off.
And on that point, right, I think people need to really distinguish quote unquote grey dealers or flippers versus people who sell that watch, right? Because things change, things evolve, right? Even myself, I used to not like big watches, and I end up liking big watches, right? Things changes, right? So I mean, at least this allows them to in a way tackle the immediate buy and sell, right? Because those people that unless you really have the capital to store the watches for 6 months and sell it, then nothing can be done. But at the end of the day, it's their product to own, and it's their rights to do what they want. So you can't do too much anyways.
Agreed.
All right. So moving on from that, I think the last watch that I've got is the Seiko Snowflake, the SBGA 011, which is the first iteration of the Snowflake, as you can see,
the
with
OG.
the Seiko logo at the top and the Grand Seiko at the bottom, right? So obviously I got this piece used from a friend of mine who previously wanted to sell it, and I didn't jump on the opportunity. And it's been on my mind since, right? Especially, I don't know, the Seiko logo at the top makes it make it a sleeper watch, right? If you know, that kind of thing, right? And somehow, I think August, my friend decided to part ways with the watch, right? And I got an opportunity to buy it again, and I was like, I'm not going to let the opportunity miss again, right? So I jumped on the opportunity impulsively, and I got another watch. Not good for my wallet. I think this is probably the year that I've spent the most, and actually, in fact,
without traveling.
Oh yeah, traveling.
Yeah, so you channeled your traveling expenses somewhere else.
And I've noticed a trend that my watches purchase have been increasing year on year, which I'm trying very hard to control. But when things come out like this, if I pass on this, when will I get it again? Right? So it's like, I don't know. This is the danger of this hobby. Like it's At the same time, very rewarding. At the same time, very concerning to my wallet and to my finance, for sure.
Yeah.
But end of the day, so far, really been liking this watch. Credits to what Grand Seiko did to this. Not sure if we'll ever see this kind of value for money watch in the future with the directions they're heading to. Like the new watches, I can't remember the new Spring Drive limited edition, the blue face one. It was like 40,000.
Yeah, they're all averaging about the $8,000 to $9,000 for all new watches.
Woody, how come you didn't get this when you were shopping for your Grand Seiko?
I actually like the Grand Seiko version over this.
You want a cleaner look?
Yeah, I generally prefer the cleaner balance. Although I have to admit that the original one is nice to have two applied logos on it. Because the Seiko's an applied logo as well. So, but I prefer the cleaner look of it. But I've never had a problem with power reserve. Some people do. They don't like the idea of the power reserve on the dial. But I actually have no issue with that.
Okay.
But I have to say, I mean, like the SBJ 211, it's a lot cleaner, right? So this is either you like it or you don't. It's kind of thing, right? But to me, it's I just want the Seiko. It's like, so if you don't know, people will probably think this is like the
like a white dial Seiko from afar, right? It's
the baby snowflake, the Presage one.
Presage,
yeah. I can't remember the reference for the SBY something like that.
Baby snowflake.
Yeah, baby snowflake. So you could look at that. So I like it because it is that, right?
Yep.
I typically like things that it's how to say, it's known only for the collectors.
Yeah.
That's how I typically like to have it. Like for example, the Tudor Rose, the ETA movement. People were like, it's just a Tudor and the ETA movement and stuff like that. But if you know, you know, right? I really like the watches like that. So that's why I got this lah. So I have to stop for now. I should stop for now.
Until the next big announcement.
So let's see how it goes. But yeah, I'm at least at this moment, I don't plan to get anything for now. And hopefully no surprises from Tudor that announces any more watches. Right. So we'll see how it goes. Right, and I think Woody has one here as well, which is his purchase for the year so far. Yeah.
This is the first purchase of the year, if I remember correctly. So this is the GBD 200. So this is where G-Shock has gone into the thinnest smartwatch that they can have, and I've always never really liked the idea of a smartwatch because of you always have to charge it. Like every 2-3 days you have to charge it, right? I've liked the idea of a fitness watch. I think all of us have dabbled in like a Fitbit or something in our past as well, right? So that one was great, and I liked the idea of where it was just a bracelet where you didn't fight for wrist time with the watch. But the problem with a smartwatch is you always have to wear it. You know, it makes you want to wear it every single day, and that just contravenes the whole idea of me loving mechanical and quartz watches, whatever they may be. So when this came about, it's like battery life of 2 years, higher res, it's the square, the real original type of G-Shock design, and it was just loud because I usually have more reserve stuff, right? And I was like, maybe I should just try something loud for a change. And so this came about, pre-ordered it, came in, actually very pleased with it. It's sharp display, compared to your normal G-Shocks, the display is a low power but high resolution display and high battery saving. That's why they can run for 2 years without a charge. It's got Bluetooth and all of that, so you can actually sync it to the phone. But I choose to switch it off because otherwise I would get a proper smartwatch anyway. But yeah, this is what I got. I do have watches on order. I have a Cerakoe 5303 left-hand drive. Supposed to be shipping in a few days' time, I think. Should be here either early November or end of this month. So stay tuned for that one. I'll probably share it with the guys when it comes here. And strangely, like what James mentioned, right? You should never say never, because I remember after getting that, I said, okay, I'm done. There's no more from me, right? And the very next day, after I declared that, Seiko announces that they were making a limited edition Ginza Alpinist. And I saw the dial and I'm like, oh crap. Because I'm a dial guy, so it's like unique designs, like, and the price is also not expensive compared to what they've been doing all this while, right? I think it's like less than $1,000 for a 6-hour movement in it, and I was like, this unique dial, doomed. So went to AD and told them that if it comes in, let me know. But I didn't commit a deposit or anything of the sort, so I'm allowing fate to decide whether I own that watch or not. So yeah, that's me. So technically 2, trying to avoid the 3rd before the year end.
Fair enough. Right, so Renee, I don't
have
think
anything.
He's in fact thinking of selling.
Are you?
He considered it for a bit.
I consider your
Which
offer.
Which one?
My Explorer.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, right.
Very enticing with the prices that it's going at.
Yeah, it's like nothing to lose, right?
I think for those who are, like not keeping up in the market, I think what we're talking about is the the Explorer.
Yeah.
114.
214, 270.
Yeah.
Oh, 214. Yeah, then it was 22. Yeah. Explorer 39mm, and Renee got it at a discount at the AD, right?
8%.
Yeah, insane, like that, right? Insane piece, right?
In today's day and age, that's ridiculous.
Sports watch that you get discount for that, and the price has more than doubled since what you've paid. It's reached as high as 51,000 ringgit in Malaysia. And yeah, so Renee's probably thinking of selling it, still undecided at this point, and maybe swap it out for a quote unquote more wearable Explorer 36mm.
36 more wearable for me, being enough for you.
Yeah.
But the only problem for me is because I'm having this 37mm Grand Seiko.
It kind of
It
cannibalizes
competes,
it.
It will compete for wrist time.
Yeah.
And it looks similar.
It does.
So
It does.
I don't know.
But I'm putting you on the spot a little bit, but Rolex versus Grand Seiko.
Rolex versus it's different.
Oh really? Okay.
Okay, fine. Let's tweak it the other way around, right? Say if you get, say 50 grand, right? 50 grand ringgit for your Explorer. What would you channel that money into?
I know. Maybe I'll get the Zenith.
The new one, right? The 38.
The new 38 Zenith
You can.
Primero.
Right.
Yeah.
You can.
Right.
And invest the remaining 20,000 and move up, and then eventually you're able to afford that AP, right? Right. That's the way to
Just
do
buy
it.
a Bitcoin at the right price.
There is an option that you can
Maybe.
yeah, right.
Maybe.
I don't know, but it depends.
Yeah.
I think for context as well, Renee is probably not as sentimental as Woody and I, right?
Right. Except for my Speedmaster. I think that's the most sentimental.
Because of your daughter and
Yeah.
everything, your first watch.
But
right?
the rest, you can let go of them easily.
Yeah, so we'll stay tuned and see what
develops.
Renee does with it. Yeah. But who knows, right? I mean, the price could even go higher for that.
Right. I
So
don't see.
It's officially discontinued. I don't see them bringing it back.
Mm.
So
We'll see. And I've talked about it 3 or 4 episodes back again on how much I want the 39mm Explorer just because of the wearability of it. I think 39 is a sweet spot for me, at least. 39 Explorer, 39 OP, they're all gone. So, oh well. Let's see how it goes. Alright, so I think one thing I want to talk about as well, I think there's something I shared with you guys last month, where I saw a A-Lang in a grey market shop that sells for 120. It's an annual calendar gold A-Lang. Actually, what do you pronounce it? Lange or?
Lange Zona.
Yeah, Lange.
Like,
ALS, I have no idea how to pronounce it, right?
That sounds sick.
like JLC as well, like Jijilaku.
Yeah, that sounds like a medical condition.
It is a medical condition.
Right, so okay, that piece, an annual calendar that probably retails for 200 plus thousand ringgit, and it sells for 120,000 ringgit. Right, it's a beautiful piece, right? Beautiful craftsmanship, beautiful material, workmanship, and everything. And to me, I'm not sure how you guys feel about it, but when I look at it, I had like a reflection that it tells me that watches these days are horology, at least, right? Is being underappreciated or being neglected, right?
For sure.
It's all about the hype right now, and it's very sad to see things like this, like Breguet, like few other pieces as well, which is predominantly dress watch, right? Anything that is dress watch, at least I don't think there's any that performs well in the secondary market, right?
Agreed.
Right, which is, it can be a good or bad thing. Good thing is like people are able to take advantage of this for the ones that likes it, the one that appreciate it. But I'm not sure how does it impact like the brand and the future of watches like this, right? I'm not sure what you guys thought about this.
Oh, Richard, you go ahead first. No views.
You're talking about like high-end dress watches in general.
Yeah, like how they are being underappreciated and how like
I think everyone right now is so concerned about the market price. Maybe more than 50% of watch collectors are really considering the market price of the watches. Like if they sell it, can I exchange it for it's the same price as how much I bought it, or more than that, right? But those who really appreciate watches, I think there's not that much people left already, right?
Less and less people.
Less and less people. Like when I had my experience with JLC last time, I really love JLC, but I got a 39mm reserved in March. But though it's 39mm, I just don't feel like it's fitting my wrist properly. Maybe because of my wrist shape, it's quite rectangular. And I think it's the same. It's the same feeling you have for your Corona, James. I like looking at it, but I don't feel like wearing it most of the time. Right. So I mean, I tried selling it, and people just offered me crazily more, like lowball prices. Like they just offered like 30% of how much I bought it, as low as that. You know? So then I asked why is it so low. They said it's very difficult to sell it, you know, because not a lot of people knows about the brand. Right. So I'm not sure what will be the future for watches like this. I think all those like Lange,
Breguet, Danilov, many more.
There's so much in there, but which only a few people know. Mostly watch collectors.
Correct. Well, I think it's a very niche space to be in. I completely agree with you on Jose Lecoq, because I mean, I've got a very good relationship with the brand in Malaysia, and it's truly watchmaking at its best if you really get to see it. I mean, just earlier today I got a chance to look at the Gyro Tourbillon, which is a watch that's more than RM1 million, right? And there is no rationale for anyone to make a watch like that. It doesn't make any sense, because there's an app for that, right? You know, there's an app for everything. But it's just mechanical artistry, and that interest and passion is so rare already, because it's only the artisans, the really ultra rich, that will probably be looking at pieces like this. But to the mass luxury consumer, they are more concerned, like Renee mentioned, the transaction, right? Do I retain the value of it? Can I then trade up for something else? But a lot of this watchmaking ability doesn't get appreciated enough anymore. I mean, if you really think about it, it's only people who are into watches that care about an open case back. Most people don't even care is how much I make for the next piece and all of that. So I think it's unfortunately becoming more and more niche, the interest. It would rely on enthusiasts breaking the trend a little bit, because I think what's happened right now is a lot more people are getting into watches actually than they were before. But they're all getting into the ones that trade well. The people that have always been interested in watches are still there, but the transactions aren't as great anymore already. So I think that's what's causing a little bit of it. I think as long as the people like you and I who are more interested in the hobby, right, share it a little bit more with people, I think there's still hope in it. It's not going to fade out completely. I mean, we wear watches that tell times less accurately than what we have in our pockets anyway. So
it's I mean, to each their own. There are people that likes it for, be it the status, be it the brand, be it the look and everything. I think what we're trying to, in a way, express is that there can be more to it, right? At least give it a chance to explore it, and so on. And I mean, like, without these people creating the movements at the very start for this kind of dress watches and so on, right? You're talking about like Vacheron and everything, the ones that have been here very long ago, right? They are underappreciated. I mean, they deserve more credit than that. Especially without them, there will not be watches today, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I see it.
And I think dress watches aren't really that popular, especially in Southeast Asia, because we don't really, and probably because of the
Events
weather,
and
right?
stuff, yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Which is something that I think is something to talk about as well. Like if we look at AP, right, they had some like dress watches stuff like the early days and stuff, and then right now anything about AP is just the Royal Oak, right?
The Royal Oak brand.
Yeah, the Royal Oak brand, and they don't
Royal.
do much with it. I mean, they had the revival and so on. They
tried the 1159 that didn't work out too well initially.
Yeah. So it's all back to Royal Oak for them, right? But I mean, like, there's more to that lah. So it's really, at least for me, this experience made me look like if I cannot get like all these sport watches and so on, I'm going to go full blown dress watches. I'm going to go for all the used A-Lang and the used GLCs and stuff. I'm going to divert all my attention to like the sport watches. I'll just get the Tudor and everything for like regular usage, and then anything else I'm just going to dress watches, and I'm going to wear it in any occasion. Right? That's how I'm going to see it, because it's for money, for value wise, I think that's something that is so good to be passed on. Right.
Yeah, especially in the used market, I think you can get very good deals on these brands.
Super good. Yeah. So yeah,
that's true.
We'll see how things goes, especially the market right now has evolved massively in the past 2 years.
I saw a blank band, like a very old blank band, being sold around 11K, like 3-4 years ago.
Wow.
I thought of it, but I'm not sure, because he opened during the picture, when he took the pictures, he opened the case back. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure on the history of it, so it looks good, but I'm quite scared to get it.
You might want to bring it back to the brand and see what they say.
And it's especially, I think the ones that struggle a lot with it is Patek, right? So Patek, predominantly the ones that they want to produce, and the one that produce more are the dress watches, right? Like the perpetual calendar and everything, right? All the complicated movements and so on. But the ones that, at least the new collectors, what they know for is the 5711, the Aquanauts and everything. That's all they know for. Aquanaut, which is the watches that they least produce the most, right? Aquanaut is an entry level brand that has, entry level model that has went up the prices like massively. 5711 is, I don't need to say anything about it already, right? And there's a reason why they tried to discontinue it and try to reduce production of it, because that's not their focus, and
they didn't want to be known like the Royal Oak brand.
They
wanted to be known to make different watches and all of that. So they're trying to cool that market a little bit. But I think it's actually achieving the opposite effect, because people are trading that now at even more ridiculous prices.
Exactly.
So it's tough, really tough.
No idea how they're going to control it and stuff, but I would give them credit for trying something, unlike say our brand.
They did come out to the press though to say that it's not our fault. We are just focusing on the quality of our timepieces. We've got an AD network that handles all of this for us, and we don't instruct them not to sell. So very good PR statement to release, to almost say, I'm sorry the way things are, but I'm not changing anything, and I'm not doing this by design. That's all on you.
Do you think that's true though? Like I at least, I'm not a expert in like watch manufacturing and anything, but from a a inexperienced perspective, just looking at it on a high level, I would feel that it's like, I'm sure there's something you can do.
Of course, and I think in the previous episode I did say as well, I think the whole idea is, it's very similar to what we spoke of just now, what Corona tried to do, right? You just need to do something like that to cool the flipping aspect. It's not to say stop the whole grey market, because a few months down the road, you may fall out of love with the watch, you want to move it on, happen to move it on at a profit, that's good on you. But if you do absolutely nothing, and you allow your ADs to do that, then naturally what's going to happen is this is going to perpetuate. Although, having said that, I watched a video on YouTube recently, and they talked about the fact that a brand like this one, why they don't have to do anything, even though they're a foundation, right? They're not even a public listed company, is because what this means is they price their sports watches perfectly, simply because you now have to buy everything else from them to get that watch. That's the price that you're actually paying.
Okay.
It means to say, although let's say for example a GMT may cost, let's say, 30,000 ringgit at retail, right? It's not. It is about 60,000. Why? Because otherwise you would have had to buy a few watches from them anyway at those prices, and whatever you would have lost in the trade, that's what you would add on and then pay that. So it's almost value now to buy from the grey market, because you don't have to incur the losses and buying stuff you don't want. So the argument that this guy was making is the watches are priced so perfectly that they don't have to do anything. So it's a different point of view, but I think what they just should do is reduce. I think James, you were the one that said, even in this region, you feel that what's happening is the ADs are probably just letting it go straight to the grey market almost instantly.
Yeah.
I think the whole idea is to stop that first initial immediate transaction that marks the price up.
Yeah.
I think everything else that happens after that, due to market forces, let it be. If you can find a way to cool the market for the first 6 months of ownership, 3 months of ownership, I think that would do wonders for the market. But they're not. I don't think they're bothered.
So most people say that the grey market price and so on is worried, but to me, I honestly don't have a problem with that, because that is natural economics, right? The popular it is, the price it is. But my issue with it is whether someone like me stand a chance
That's true.
to get it. So to me, I personally don't mind playing the game, because I know that if this is what it is, you only have this much, you got to do something to differentiate yourself from buyers to buyers, right? Otherwise, I mean, it is what it is, right? Because due to limited supply, right? I mean, that is if they cannot change the supply, right? So I need to ask for a fair chance for everybody to go to it, rather than a someone that has connection that's able to make deals happen before the watch even arrives to the store. So that is my issue with what's happening, at least in the Asia market.
Right. And you're not even sure like how much percentage of their stock are being shown in the display compared to the one they're keeping at the back of the doors. Right?
I think the sad part is you don't even know whether, I mean, the rumors or the word on the street is the prioritized people that have got a very good stature or what, of long track record with them, they will sell any watch to them, right? But these guys are the same ones that are profiteering off it. It's like they are acquiring it and moving it on straight away, because they probably don't need it, and they've got whatever they want already, right? So you are almost in a situation where it's pure profiteering by the preferred customers, whereas people that genuinely want to get into the brand are denied that opportunity now because such a system exists, which is unfortunately quite sad. It's not that we're asking for a discount anymore either. You're just asking for a fair chance to procure the watch now, right? Or just be considered under a list that genuinely exists. Right now it feels like that list is just to make you feel better and then leave thinking you have a chance when you actually don't. I think that's the sad part about what most people are feeling in this region.
Which you're going to try tomorrow, right?
I'm just curious as a social experiment. I've written off the fact that it can even be achieved. I just want to see how bad it can get, because I think like the complete opposite of that is the experience I get with Cherché Lecoq, because they treat every customer as they can, and everybody I've brought them in, they just treat them fairly. It's like they get you into the brand, appreciate the watchmaking that they do and all of that. You walk into almost anyone in Malaysia, Rolex AD, right? I guarantee you the first thing you will feel is they're eyeing you from top to bottom to see whether you're worth their time or not, and secondly whether you can even pay in cash, probably, to just transact on the spot, right? And they'll give you any excuse to make you leave the store because they want to tell you you're not worth their time, but that shouldn't be how it feels like for something that's a good a product that's industrially produced to a high level of quality. I stress industrially produced. And it's not even a necessity, it's a luxury product, right? So, and you've got a brand that's been really well built, and people just want to be part of it. But to feel that experience, it just doesn't feel right. And I don't think I can blame it on the brand even on this. It's just, what I don't like is the brands allowing the ADs to behave like that, because that's you're an extension of your brand. You spend millions and millions, a watch for every achievement, you know, and all the advertisements, sponsoring Wimbledon and all of that.
Yeah.
And yet, when you get to the service level, the people that you meet to buy your watch, you get this experience that sours the whole thing. And is that the right balance to play? I'm not sure, you know. It just doesn't seem quite right. It seems like you're wasting money building that brand and someone's just doing that to you, which is not what you want your customer to feel anyway. Yeah.
Right. So, in relation to that, right, I've been to the AP boutique 2 weeks ago. I sent you guys some photos and stuff.
Yeah.
It's a pretty pleasant experience, right? At least I was treated like a human being going into there. I get to try it out, almost every pieces, right? The Royal Oak chronograph, Royal Oak offshore, Code 11, everything.
Without purchase history.
Without purchase history, nothing, right? And that's something very interesting that I share with you guys as well. They asked for a very, very deep profile along with my business card, right? So I don't know, like there are two possibilities that come out with. One, they either want to judge if I can afford it,
Could be.
right? Second, they want to judge if I'm going to flip it, right? So I think these two are likely possible. If it's the second, that they are actually judging and profiling to their best possible knowledge whether I would flip it or not, that might be an approach lah. I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, there's only so much you can do, but at least they're trying something, right? Yeah, so I'll see how it goes. I put my name down for a couple of watches. I'm not sure if I'll get
couple
it.
of watches in AP.
Yeah, I put two.
Okay.
I put for the Royal Oak 38 chronograph, because realistically, she told me the blue ones you can put your name down, but I don't know how long you're gonna wait. Stuff, right? So she's
being honest.
Yeah, she's being honest, right?
At least.
She's saying that that the list is very long, right? And then they she said some other stuff as well, and she said that among all the ones, there's the 37mm as well, which I didn't really like too much. It's kind of small. So they landed in between the 38 one, because the 39 jumbo is discontinued. So 38mm chronograph in the grey color. She said the blue one is going to be hard as well. So it's like, alright, I took the one that has the most chances lah. But she told me it's like either this or you go the offshore. The offshore, she says you can get it from me.
Offshore.
Royal offshore.
Massive.
Yeah. There's the 42.
Oh yeah.
They have the 44 and the 42, but they only had the 44 for me to try. It's massive lah.
Right.
And I also asked for the 34mm Royal Oak for my girlfriend.
34.
Yeah.
34 is quite nice.
Hey, did you know the 38mm chrono, or the AP chrono, is not a true in-house movement from AP?
Oh really? I didn't
It's
know.
it's a FP gay movement.
Oh, really?
Which they didn't change the design. It was originally built like that, which
Yeah.
they just kept consistently like
Oh shit.
Right.
Okay. But yeah.
Interesting.
So I don't know. That I tell you that what at least my experience, boutique, JLC, AP, direct boutique, best experience ever. Right, versus
Right.
AD.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's very interesting to see. See what's going to happen as well. And like Cartier, I know they're moving to boutique only. They're slowly phasing out AD. That's what I heard. Right.
What happened?
Hmm?
What happened?
I need more control from themselves
Okay.
and stuff. We'll see what happened to the rest of the brands as well moving forward. And I think one more thing to talk about, I think that happens recently as well on two brands, right? Omega and Grand Seiko, that are slowly phasing out discounts from what we heard. What do you guys thought about that?
I think it's a natural, organic progression because Omega sees itself as the immediate rival to Rolex, and if Rolex can demand that sort of prices, the only way they can protect their pricing is by not allowing ADs to throw the prices down. So they protect some of it. I think many years ago there was an overabundance, that's why the whole Swiss industry went into cleaning up everything as well. So I think it's just them reacting to the market of today. So Grand Seiko has gone around the block being underappreciated, high craftsmanship for the price and all of that. I think all they are doing right now is not that I like it, but the fact is they're playing to what they feel they should. Meaning, when people say it's worth more than what they're charging for, they're just going to charge more now.
Right.
Because that's the level that they feel they're supposed to be playing at. It's to the detriment of all of us who knew about it before that happened, right? But it's just market forces that are at play. So I feel that until that big sun in the sky called R, right, something gets resolved there, it's going to have a domino effect on every other big brand.
Everyone's trying to catch up.
Yeah, everyone's trying to catch part of the sunlight as well, right? You can't if you can't beat them, join them. You know, it's.
But do you guys think this would have a negative effect towards them? Like the sales in GS will go down, the sales in Omega will go down because maybe people will only buy it because they can get a discount.
I think there will be an adjustment period. I actually think Omega will succeed more than Grand Seiko, and I'll explain why. I think Grand Seiko and Seiko have this propensity to release something that's limited edition for 1 or 2 years and then make it generic as a standard model after that. I think to even the collectors out there, it annoys the crap out of people because you pay a premium for the limited edition thinking it won't come out again, right? And then they make a switch. And so you're paying to be one of the first, but you are not going to be the last. You're going to be a group of others. I think that strategy is really poor. Omega, on the other hand, I think as they move up, they don't come back. As in, if you continuously move up the ladder and you don't come back down, right, it's actually the natural progression of luxury goods anyway. That tends to work. So I think Omega will succeed more because they're also not really charging they're not even charging a premium. They're just saying that they don't give a discount, right? So as long as you wait, you're willing to put in money for it, I think they'll honor it. At no point do they tell you, I think, even when you put in for the Speedy, right? Yeah. They just accepted it and just said you guys have to wait. So I don't think that's going to be a problem for them, I think. In fact, I'm glad that they've kind of stopped the limited edition craze for a bit. I think it seems to have cooled down a little bit. I haven't seen many limited editions by Omega already.
There was quite a period of time where it became quite annoying, right?
Yeah.
It's like
2 years ago, with the 50th anniversary, the black and gold one, Speedmaster, and a few others. And then that's where the time they I'm not mistaken, they prepared to launch the No Time to Die Speedmaster as well. Just been going on for 2 years already because the movie was delayed. Speaking of that, that's a watch I really like.
Actually, I think it looks better in person.
Yeah.
The more you look at it, it does have that vibe. I'm hoping the Serica has that vibe. So let's
just
see.
The thing is, to me, that's the number one Seamaster I would get because they didn't have the wavy down.
Oh, you don't like that one?
No, I don't like the wavy down.
I always felt that part of the character.
It is lah. I mean, if I were to get it, I'll get the white down one because the wavy is very subtle. To me, that the white and the black one I'm willing to accept. But my issue with the No Time to Die one, it's bloody expensive.
Oh yeah, they put a huge premium on that.
It's 38,000 if I'm not mistaken.
Is it a limited or is this?
It's a limited production.
Limited production.
Yeah. So they are only going to produce it up upon until the next release of the Max Bond movie.
That'll be some time though.
So you're probably looking at 2-3 more years. Yeah. Which is, I mean, same goes to the Snoopy as well, which is a limited production. But that is even less because it's hard to produce that watch and so on.
True.
Yeah. But I don't know, beautiful watch nonetheless. Yeah. The medalist bracelet with it.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah.
Yep.
How about one of those trilogy watches?
Oh, the Real Masters and so on.
Yeah, I saw someone selling.
There's a whole set of the three? Or?
Whole set, 100K.
It's really nice.
Yeah. I like the whole set except for the fact that there's a number on the dial. I think that there's a set of 3, they actually put the number of the as in, because it's a limited edition, right? It's a number, they put it on the dial instead of the case back. I find that a little bit off. I could remember incorrectly, but I do remember that for the limited trio, the serial numbers on the dial.
I see. Yeah. I like the Real Master and the Seamaster 300.
Right.
It's really nice.
So you can get 3 watches with the price of a Daytona.
I would take that, honestly.
Yeah. And this one will hold value too, you know.
Right.
Yeah. I actually genuinely.
It's brand new.
It's brand new.
Oh.
Yeah, when you get your Snoopy, just get it, James, and sell it separately.
We'll see. Oh man.
Yeah, there's still 2.5 months left. You could just double down. This is literally doubling down. 3 more.
Oh, man.
Not 1 more, 3 more.
One thing, I'm not sure if you guys noticed is about the Seamaster, I mean the No Time to Die Seamaster, because it's not an open case bag. But one thing very interesting with the closed case bag is, if you notice the case bag, it has the wording, it's not the 007 and everything, right? The British military codes and everything. And they they trademark a technology with the case bag, and when you open and close it, it always lines up, and the wording will always be straight.
Okay.
That is cool.
That's a peeve you have with that watch.
Yes,
well, right?
exactly. Right. So if you didn't know, that's the first thing I saw. The coronal word behind the case bag wasn't straight. That's like. Then it only, like, when you told me about it, I was, actually the Speedmaster is the same.
Straight,
Alright, my SKX is the same as well, but because it wasn't a word, I didn't notice it too much. But this was a straight up word. I really noticed it. But that's where the No Time to Die Seamaster really impressed me. Like small things like this.
Yeah, it's the small details that really impress after a while.
So, wow. They had a fancy name for it, something lock or something that they trademarked it, which is so cool that they even bothered to trademark such a method or technology to develop that closed case bag. So cool.
Travis, since you're an AP fan, right? Does the Royal Oak, because it's purposely lined up that way, the screws are lined up that way, right? If they ever dismantle it, will it come back to the same point?
Yeah, I think so. Cause I saw people complaining about Hublot because it's not lined up. Not lined up compared to AP.
Okay.
The Cartier Santos is not aligned.
Also not aligned.
It's not aligned. But I don't know. I like it. In that sense, I don't know. I'm a bit weird. When the Santos, I like it not aligned.
You like it?
Yeah. When it things like this, I don't know. There's no explanation to it. For an AP also, I would prefer that's not aligned.
Really? Yeah. I feel like AP needs to be aligned. It feels like a part of the image already.
I don't know. It's for weird things like this. I feel that it's very fake when it's aligned. I don't know. It's just weird. There's no explanation for it.
No, I think this is just the perfect evidence to tell all the brands out there, right? If you're gonna do a case bag, even if it's a closed one, don't use text that's not round. A lot of the micro brands are very clever about this. They use a case bag that's a design that works well
any direction.
So you will never think about it. Open case bags are also great because open case bags distract you with the movement, and you will never think about what the case alignment looks like. Yeah. But when you put text like this one, that's probably the
right. So this is the next question, right? What is worse, a text case bag that is not aligned, or the Grand Seiko with the huge circular Grand Seiko emblem that is distracting the movement? Which is worse?
The worst one ever, the Godzilla Grand Seiko.
Of course,
if you've never seen that, search that up. Just put Grand Seiko.
I'll edit it in the video. I'll put it there.
Why would you put a see-through case bag with
exactly? Like, to me, it's like,
right?
why? It's like you might as well not put it right.
And the Godzilla is so bad because it takes up 2/3 of the entire thing and it's in black.
Yeah,
so it's horrible. Like, don't. And that one for me is just Japanese design. It's like stuck on an island. It didn't globalize.
I'm sure there's someone out there that says like, but I still want to have that glimpse of the movement.
I think if I were that person, I'd go like, take that one off, put something place, I'll keep this for resale.
Oh man. Yeah. Right. Any last topics you want to talk about? Any thoughts on like new release, upcoming releases, and so on, or what do you hope to see in the next? I mean, like for your favorite brands as well. Wait, I thought of something immediately. The Omega Speedmaster Chronoscope. It's a beautiful piece. Alright.
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen that? It's the 43mm one.
You should look at it. I am a fan of the old one. I just like the old one. The new one feels a bit too clinical. I like the idea that they tried to do something like that. It feels clinical, but one thing that I think will peeve off all the new Speedmaster owners out there is that particular bracelet has got a clasp that can adjust.
Yeah.
And they could have done that for all the new Speedies as well, but they did not.
So interesting that people have really find out the parts that they need I think you just get the end link
Yeah.
of that and the clasps,
Yeah.
and with the 3861 bracelet, and you can put them together.
Right.
It's like, oh, that's the option, right? I say, Han, if you're watching this,
Yeah.
hey, you know what to do, right?
Maybe you should tell the AD to cancel your order or something and just like swap it around or just get another one.
No, you can't get it because I think it's a different size.
Ah, right,
But
right.
you can order the
Interesting.
clasps separately.
Right.
And you
okay.
can, you can,
Right, Han, if you're listening
yeah.
out there, you've got something else to buy now.
you can Frankenstein the whole thing.
Why is it 43 mm?
It's an automatic movement.
Oh, okay.
It's
okay.
actually so. If you remember, the Speedmaster had always had a bigger range. The
Yeah, yeah.
Dark Side of the Moon, the racing, and all of that. This is the next evolution of that, but they've taken the dial design from O and put that there. I actually like the O one. I'm a thing about the O look of chronographs. This one feels a bit too clinically clean, especially if you see it in person. I have not, but I suspect simply because I had hands-on with a 3861 recently, a Sapphire Sandwich, right? I get the feeling it will be done really well, but there's too much of a modern feel to it. Because it's vintage inspired, but because it's so modern executed, there's a lot of clinicality about the design that somehow that warmth disappears as a result. But it's a great idea. I have to give them credit for that. It's a great idea.
Fair. Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to what Omega would do. I don't think there is much release this year. I think Tudor went ham. Rolex got quite a bit as well with all the two-tone Explorer and so on. Omega, we haven't seen much.
Well, technically, they did release their new Speedy end of last year,
Right.
and they're still riding on that.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, they could be due something big. anyway.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, if they consider that the year-end release for all of those with the Speedy and the Seamaster 300, the new iteration of it, then yes. But I'm still expecting something. They're due for something already. I think very soon. That's the next brand I will look up for. Right. Yeah.
I'm personally just curious to see how the hype brands behave in 2022, because I think whatever they do does move the rest of the industry. So however quiet or however big Rolex goes in with, let's say, the new releases, has a domino effect on the market, or whatever Patek chooses to do, or with the Nautilus. Let's say they've already said they'll discontinue it, but if they do something that reneges on that, that's also going to have an impact. So I really am interested just to see what these folks do, and at the same time how the House of Rolex balances out how they're moving Tudor up. So I'm just interested to see, because these pieces will move the rest of the industry. Not really thinking of any new model by any company at the moment. Not for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that as things progress better, like moving away from all this pandemic situation, the things open up and so on, how do you think this plays into the watch market? Right, I mean, like, shortage would presumably be less impacted, back on track, so on.
Yeah.
I think it's already showing signs of a bit of recovery. I think people were actually still buying, especially the upper class, were still buying watches even in this pandemic. Less of the other brands, the hype brands, were still being overbought. So I reckon it's just going to be a bit more back to a norm for a lot of the brands, which would be good for the industry as a whole. But I think it'll take some time. Well, the big shows will be back next year anyway, so I think that will be a good sign for the industry, for get people back in to see watches again.
The big show, as in like the
That's the world.
Basel, I think it's changed. It's the Watches and Wonders. I think that's the one that's going to be.
There's Baselworld, like even Rolex is out already, right? If I'm mistaken. Yeah, the whole bunch of it pulled out.
I think the next big one is next year, where I think it's Watches and Wonders Geneva, if I'm not mistaken, where everybody's just going to be there.
Okay, there's no separate Swatch group.
I don't know about Swatch. That's a good point. Swatch tends to want to do their own thing these days, but I think everyone else has bandied around this one already. So I think it'll be interesting.
Okay. To me, I'm very interested to see how, in terms of secondhand, I mean the resale market price plays out once things are back to normal, right? At least that's how it plays out, right? Either it's people would double down on it, clearing out more of those stocks from Rolex, and the price would just continue to maintain or go up, or that's a bubble that we may see. Only time will tell. Yeah.
We shall see.
Yeah. All right. I think we're pretty.
Yeah, we're done.
Okay. Yeah, we're done for today. I think. So as you can see, we weren't planning everything, so everything is pretty spontaneous, and we hope to get Han and Tim back in the next episode. Tim has a watch.
Oh, it's a very nice one actually.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it for him to bring it.
Yeah. Han, I think aside from the 1709, I don't think he got any. But with his new job, congratulations on that.
Yeah.
We hope the next purchase won't be too far away, right? So
We'll be giving him suggestions.
Yeah. So that's what we do. All right, and we just hope the next episode won't be too long. 1 month max, I hope.
Yeah.
Right, you heard it from me. I hope so. And we are in line to bring in more people as well as guests to get you some new perspective on watch ownerships and watch collecting. And I think that's all. Stay safe, take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.